the economy, collapse in the naira and all that. And gradually we started noticing facility decay. Nigerians started going, and it was the era of brain drain.
Look at primary school system. It's a rot. No person, except the poor and illiterate people, will take their children to public school. Go to public schools. It's a mess. Go to secondary school, public secondary school. It's a mess. If ASUU does not take its time very well, the same thing will become public. The same thing will become an issue in public tertiary institutions.
To worsen the situation, the content and structure of the curricula have mostly not been revised to meet modern demands and realities of the labor market. Students receive little or no practical experience to their academic work, which would prepare them to fit into the labor market.
The standards are higher now compared to what we had when I was in primary school, in secondary school, or even in university. Indeed, the standards are higher now, but the quality is lower now. The two are not the same. The standard prescribes the minimum we need to get, to finish with a particular level. And so that standard is higher now. Even this batch system in Nigeria is demanding a higher standard, but we are not meeting that standard because the quality is low. And that quality that is low has a lot to do with the fact that the teachers who are supposed to be delivering that quality, they themselves need help. They haven't been trained to know what to do. So a lot of the teachers who stand in classrooms across, schools in Nigeria have no business being in the classroom because they don't even know what a teacher's responsibility is in the classroom.
Compared to another lecturer who is having only 5, only 4, only 3, how do you want to compare that product with that other product? It's not going to be. We are shortchanging the future of the student. Let's tell the truth about that. We're not giving them the best they're supposed to do. We are already making them to be lower than their colleagues all over the whole world. You see, and these same students are going to shun out. They're going to compete in the same market. The world is flat now. Anybody can get a job anywhere. So how prepare are these students to get this job? That's the quality. You go to sciences, it's a mess. Go to their labs. The government just said, okay, once they are giving you money at a particular time, then they can go and sleep. No, this lab, these materials get finished, they get, exhausted, the equipment needs to be refurbished, you need to get new equipment, latest equipment, get the point. Now, the university should be boasting, let me say Mascom for instance, we should be boasting of camera that's even higher than you guys to be TVC. We don't have it. We don't have it. So tell me, you have students, and most of our products outside, most of the industry, go to them, they are telling us that these your students are not employable. This is have to teach them all over, experience in your own TVC. Most of the things that comes to you from Mascom, you see, you have to train them all over. The question is, what are they doing in school? What kind of quality are they having? What kind of teaching are they being exposed to? In what environment are they growing from? You see, these are issues.
Since 1999, when democratic governance returned, the annual budgetary allocation for education in Nigeria has been hovering between 4 and 10%. Although the government's budgetary allocation for education remains poor, the National Universities Commission (NUC) is in the business of approving more private and public universities. With about 200 private and public universities in the country, new ones are being established to join the foray in a poorly funded education sector.
You don't have money to maintain a wife, and you are marrying 10, and they are growing. Government have never complained that they don't have money to finance education. This government have opened more universities more than the Jonathan government.
They have politicized the university system. How? They are bringing about more universities. It's like you have 4 children. You have not catered for those 4 children. You are having more, you are marrying more wives and bringing more children and say God will take care of them. Where will God take care of them? It's an act of irresponsible when you are not taking care of your children. You see, they are brought about all manner of university. You have military university, you have Navy university. Okay, tell me, what is all politics? When the former president was there, he said, okay, politically, they will have 6 universities now, 1 from each region. You get the point? Why ASUU is kind of, first they didn't sit down and say, okay, how are we going to have this university? The one we have already, have we adequately funded those universities? And then they didn't ask the questions. They brought about other universities. Now, they have all manner of other private universities that are not up to standard.
History has it that in the 1960s, 1970s, and 1980s, Nigeria had one of the best education one could receive anywhere in the world. If so, how did we get to this point where Nigerians are ready to risk everything just to get an education outside the shores of Nigeria?
Ask government, where is your blueprint for education? What type of university system do you want? And how do you achieve it? Not the Minister of Education can give you an answer to that. They really cannot pick a document and say, this is our blueprint, this is our master plan, this is our strategic plan, SP, for education in Nigeria. They don't. And so when you put these things before them, they will tell you that is not the point, go and call off the strike. But ASUU seems to be clear-headed on the type of university system we want for the system. You see, education is a different ball game entirely. That is why people say, why don't you just collect your salary and teach? You see, we have a moral obligation that this person I'm giving a certificate as a teacher should be able to deliver on his mandate. Having taught people, if those people refuse to do what they ought to do, it is no longer my blame. Why don't I just train a doctor, give them certificates? You are just bringing up armed robbers, killers. Say, okay, you know, there are no facilities, there are no cadaver, there is nothing, but you all pass. We'll just teach you. And you'll be in general hospital. That is more disaster. And so when the lecturer said, we need X, Y, Z to do what we are doing, it's a serious matter.
If Oye wasn't there, we would have been compelled to look seriously inwards now, not just inwards Nigeria, but inwards within ourselves, to ask ourselves the question, what are my talents, what are my gifts, and where are resources that I can leverage to develop those talents and potential, so that I can solve problems that will make people give me money. Oye distracted us, and we stopped investing in true education, which is about developing your mind so that you can ask relevant questions. And until you are able to ask the right questions, you can't get the right answers.
ASUU strike is a phenomenon that has become an adopted lifestyle in Nigeria's academic system. No academic session begins and completes its full cycle in the past 25 years without a strike halting the academic activities in public universities.
Progressive journalism. The floor is now open.
On the 13th of February 2022, ASUU announced its members will embark on a one-month warning strike, pending implementation of agreement it signed with the federal government. After expiration of the one-month strike, the union announced on the 14th of March that it will roll over the industrial action for another 8 weeks.
Consider the government have failed to fully implement the memorandum of action signed with the Academic Staff Union of University on 23rd December 2013, given that the draft report of the negotiation agreement had been submitted for finalization for more than 9 weeks, more than 9 works now, and noting that the forceful payment of ASUU member salary and emolument with integrated payroll and personnel management information system IPs, and non-adoption of the University Transparency and Academic Solution have continued to shortchange our members. NEC therefore resolved to embark on a 4-week rollover total and comprehensive strike beginning from Monday 14th February 2022, which is today.
For more than a decade,
This is 2022. You're not done with 4 year course, and this is another strike. You don't know when they're going to like call it off and stuff. So I don't know. All the best to
It has really affected me so many ways because, my course is just 4 years, and at the end of the day, seeing things this way, I'm not sure if I'm going to spend 4 years in school again. And I'm getting old, though. I'm getting old because I don't even know. I don't know. Seriously, it's not funny.
Members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, say they are fighting to rebuild and restore Nigeria's education back to its lost glory.
ASUU position, it is more of a position taken from patriotic grounds. I will put it this way: how do we solve the ASUU problem? Just travel to Ghana, travel to Senegal, travel to Cote d'Ivoire, whatever they are doing there that has made their system to be stable, come back here and do it. It's as simple as that. It's not a nuclear technology. And two,
The challenge we have with the higher education system in Nigeria is that it's a poorly funded level of education. We are not giving enough resources to that level of education. And the reason why that is not happening is because in the public higher education space, we are using only about 10% of the money needed to try to run the system. It's not going to work. And we are pretending that we are a rich country and government should fund higher education. That's not true. Nigeria is a poor country. We must face that reality.
The industrial action is not only affecting students, but business operators within the university community are feeling that impact.
It affected us in a big way because we are paying
ASUU issue for the lecturer to come back, for the student now come back again, for it to go back to our normal business.
As if that was not bad enough, the Senior Staff Association of Universities and the Non-Academic Staff Union, NASU, have jointly embarked on a 2-week warning strike.
The government, set up this system, the university system. They should live up to their expectation to fund the system, to attend to the welfare of our members, and also to make sure that the system does not collapse. So we are using this as another opportunity to let government know that we are giving 2 weeks again, a warning strike. If all these issues are not attended to, we will go on a full-blown and indefinite strike.
As we speak, they are owing all educational institutions, both universities and university centers, and maybe polytechnic as well, about 9 months of arrears of minimum wage. That's the consequential differential. I have not been paid, and they are not saying anything about it. Today they will say, bring this.
Because with IPs, we want to know what's happening to our funds.
Now you cannot employ people right now because IPPS will not allow you to do it. We have people who should come from a sabbatical. They're not going to come. Why? Because once you come, if a federal government school comes to sabbatical, that IPPS will not recognize you. And so that guy will just be working without payment. So where is it done? You see, how many did you go over universities? If government feel that ASUU is asking too much, they should just take a kind of tour to universities all over the whole world and see how they are operating and how here the students and lecturers are operating from here. Doesn't make any sense.
Now, the union have said, give us a package that can accommodate it. Government has failed totally in that. And so the union went and designed one. Government said it was for corruption. Okay, if it's for corruption, we are doing one that is transparent. University Transparency Accountability System, UTAS.
Education is critical in developing the powers of reasoning and judgment for personal, intellectual, and national growth. What then is the future of education in Nigeria?
Remember, Nassim, that we are today living in a global village. You can't run away from that. So globalization has come to stay. It will continue to expand. The world will continue to shrink, and then distance has been completely killed. More technologies will come to make it at some point irrelevant for anybody to be even in classrooms. It's projected that in the next 20 years, really, most of the things people go to the university today to learn, they will no longer have to go to such places to learn. They will learn at home.
If you join the two, it means that on end allowances alone, government have paid 62.127 billion in 2021. It's not a small money.
For the students, all they are asking for is for the government and ASUU to find a point of compromise, call off the strike, and ease their pain.
I'm really begging the federal government and the ASUU that they should help us. They should, like, most of us are going to this federal university because that's what our parents could afford. They should try their possible best. If they have any issues within themselves, they should try to settle it amicably. They shouldn't allow it to affect we students. We are going through a lot psychologically, financially, even spiritually. So they should just help us.
I've been in this school since 2018, and this is 2022, and I'm still not done. It's crazy. Yeah. I think about three, because this is going to be the third one. 2018 there was a strike. 2020 there was a strike, and this is another strike. So that's well, a lot actually, because I can't move to the next stage without me not being done here. So a lot.
Talking about ASU, I want to be very, very subtle about this. So it doesn't seem like I'm asking people who probably are my parents to get back to work without being fed. Because I must have to be very, very neutral on this ground. Not being neutral as far I would like to like outside. But of course, I am being funded, my education, my academics is being funded by government. So the government should please try to pay those they've employed to continue this tutoring so that everything goes smoothly.
ASO and federal government can just come to conclusion and just get this solved. they don't need to waste much of our time anymore. So if there's a possibility, they should just come to a clear ground and then just discuss this out, so we can resume back as soon as possible.
It's legitimate, but I don't know how feasible is it, whether the request can be answered on time. So ASUU should please, I don't know if I can say lower, but I think yeah, they can't be working for free. It's I mean state of the country, they can't be working for free. But I believe the demands are extraordinary, and I don't know if FG can fulfill them. But I just hope something can be done.
If education is the bedrock for development and civilization, invention and discovery of individuals, organizations, and societies, then Nigeria, as a nation that wants to be recognized and respected, must fix its education. This is not only by building more universities, but funding all universities as well as primary education to raise the standard and quality of education in the country.